Jake, can you stop skulking around out there?
Don't know what else to do.
This way or the other way around?
No, it's not gonna.
We don't really know anyone down here apart from my mum and dad, and we don't really know them.
He's got a cock, I'm afraid. Hello. Hello. Yeah, that's nice. It's nice. Basically, there'll be lots of very unhappy people sliding down here, getting cut by the nasty rusty edges on this badly built helter-skelter. There'll be a big pile of them here all crying. And obviously going up for second helpings, because in hell no one dies. It just keeps going over and over and over. They've all been made from various bits and pieces that kind of you can buy, but there's a lot of modification on them. You used to be able to buy little naked characters, but I don't think you can get them anymore. And all the Ku Klux Klan figures and the McDonald's figures are all made in-house. You can't buy them unless you buy them from us. Nobody has. I don't think anybody has any roles. I think if anybody did the same thing sort of forever, they'd go insane. So I don't think it'd be a very good sort of policy. So I think, you know. And also think if things, you know, different things have to be made anyway, so it's not quite so restricted as that. My role is to wander around, sort of getting in everybody's way, pretty much, until I get enough nasty stares and then I go home.
This series is called Living with Dead Art. It comes from a book called Living with Art, which is a book based on contemporary art collectors, I think mostly in London and New York, and it shows significant works of art in domestic settings. So what we've kind of thought is it would be quite interesting to insert works which, in some parallel universe, it might be that our work would be in this room. We have a Rothko, Clifford Still, a Donald Judd, and our zygotic exposure sculpture in kind of dominating the main part of the front room. I think it's just a way of, rudely inserting our work into a place where it doesn't really deserve to be. As far as we're concerned, there's something more interesting about making something as kind of prosaic as watercolour have some malicious content to it, because it's kind of unexpected. It's quite nice to make these things that have this kind of prettiness to them, and yet they're kind of abject and monstrous, and so that you can kind of, on the one hand, you can sort of tease sort of generalised notions of beauty by employing them for the wrong reasons, or employing them for reasons which are not ideal. I'm just going to say that there's a really good technique for doing this, actually, which is, I don't know if you notice, I put a tiny little blob of fairy liquid in the water, because it kills the water tension, so that the colour goes straight into the paper. See, top techniques too. We're trying to just ruin the assumption that art has some progressive motion to it, and we think that by doing things like flower arranging and knitting, that in some ways we can sort of undermine the heroic nature of making art. We can just turn it into something prosaic.
How's it going?
It's going really, really...
You're cheating, you're using a photograph.
Well, it's just so I know what colour the Rothko is and what colour the Clifford Still is.
See, Jake's really, really good at doing really delicate, accurate things. I can't do this.
No, he won't do this. It's different.
Do this.
It's very different.
I like to let my inner sort of wild man out. Hang on, you've got a better set of paints than I have.
You can have them now, I'm finished.
You're only using yellow. Is it done?
Yeah, it's done, isn't it?
I think it's done.
It's done?
Yeah. Do you know, I was just about to say something really stupid.
What?
I'm not going to say it.
Go on.
No, it's really stupid.
Why?
I
What?
was going to say, it's amazing they got that sculpture with those paints. Conned.
Brilliant.
Conned.
Brilliant. It's dementia for you. Right, I'm looking for a KKK hood. Have anyone seen a KKK hood knocking around? I don't know where anything is. Maybe put it all. In a sense, if this work is about hell, it's not only about hell in terms of content, it's also about hell in terms of its hellishness in terms of production. The thing about this is, in order for us to sort of produce a work of art, it takes us 6 months to make the thing. And it calls upon and utilises all sorts of skills and techniques which are by themselves worthless and not associated with the idea of making avant-garde sort of, cutting-edge art. This is the kind of the domain of neurotic men living in attics. I think maybe the only difference is that we don't live in attics.
I might do soon.
In some senses, the one thing which is anathema to artistic production is industrialisation. And what we're trying to do is by producing a work of art which has some kind of description about industrial genocide, it was necessary for us for the work to be industrial in its production. The first hell burning kind of gave rise to even more idiocy for us. It was a perfect way of actually kind of working out the next thing to make, which was just a duplication of the thing that had gone before, and thus, reinscribe its impoverishment. It's kind of like its lack of magnitude, its lack of pathos. The idea of actually having the audacity to think that this work can in any way measure, to make an approximation of the kind of the horrors of the 20th century is insulting.
If I'm doing a set of Goya's Caprichos or Disasters of War, I tend to do them at home. It's something that's easier to do on your own, not when there's too many people around. And they take quite a long time, and I kind of tend to do quite a lot of the work in the evening. So I've just brought them in just to prove that I actually do a little bit of work. And Jake hasn't seen them yet, so maybe he'll see them. There's 83 of these to do, and I think I'm kind of halfway through them, so I think I'll be doing some night work. It's just, it's very difficult because you can't rush them. You can't kind of scrimp them. It's kind of they demand sort of a certain amount of attention. Which one are we going to do? That one. This is the third set of Goyas that I've improved, I think. First set we did of these, I think they sat on a table for a year while we kind of contemplated what we were going to do to them. But I mean, there's no frisson or anything. It's like very expensive colouring in books. The whole kind of idea was to kind of do as many of these as we could, ideally until every single edition's been done, and that is the intention.
And do you like the original works? I mean,
Yeah. I mean, yeah, definitely. They're kind of. I mean, the originals are. It's quite not difficult doing these, but it's quite challenging because they're already very, very odd. So sometimes it's quite difficult to kind of imagine what you could do to make them even weirder. I've got a horrible suspicion I might have done this one before. When I was drawing, I thought this is a great idea. None of them got eyes, and they're all eating eyes. And as soon as I finished, I thought, I recognise that one. But I can't find a photograph of it, so maybe there isn't one. This is a new one. This was an old man holding two cash bags, and he's turned into a kind of lady holding her titties. I think we kind of decided a long time ago that it wasn't worth doing unless we enjoyed it. I think if you describe it to other people, it sounds like you're not working at all, really, doesn't it? I mean, defacing Goya prints for a living's quite a good job, I think. Come on, in, you.